To all my leaders, bosses, spiritual women, ambitious black women, if you're one of those women that know you want more out of life, then it is time for us as women to start discovering a new way of moving through life. Because this way that we are currently moving through life, where we are overwhelming ourselves, we're overworking ourselves, we are sacrificing ourselves in relationships, we are giving and overgiving, we're overdoing, we're stressing ourselves out, we are neglecting and abusing ourselves, we are neglecting our precious feminine. This way of moving is outdated. This way of moving is causing a lot of harm for us in relationships. It's causing harm for us in our womb space. It's causing problems for us as it relates to our health. So it is time for us as women to recognize that we need a new way of moving through life. We can't continue participating in this hustle and grind culture. We can't continue unconsciously overworking ourselves and overwhelming ourselves. So women that want it all typically tend to overwhelm and overwork a lot. Now let me tell you a little bit why I'm so passionate about this topic. So my name is Najia, by the way, and I was born and raised in New York City. Okay, I was raised in New York City with my grandparents, and growing up in New York, one of my favorite parts of living in New York was being able to explore everything, because I was this little girl who had this big heart. I had big goals. I had big dreams, imagination out of this world. And I just remember New York being this really exciting, magical place where I could just explore all my dreams, even though I wasn't actually doing everything that I wanted. But it was all about like the imagination and the vision and the dream. And I just saw myself being this young girl who was going to have this exciting life. Like I wanted great relationships. I wanted a great career. I wanted to do work that was in alignment with my purpose. I wanted to be successful in every sense of the word. But I didn't want that superficial definition of success. I didn't want that kind of success where you walk around looking like you're happy, but you know you're silently suffering. And the reality is that I remember at that time in my life, I saw two types of people that I was looking to for examples. There were either the people that had a lot of heart and they had the courage to follow their heart, but then they were just broke and struggling, right? And then there were those people that were achieving a more material definition of success, but then they were silently suffering because they weren't really in alignment with their own truth. And I remember looking at those people and thinking to myself, like, yeah, you know, I kind of want like a little bit of both of those things, but I don't really want either one of those things. So I decided to kind of set out on my own journey to explore my own definition of success. I wanted success on my own terms. I wanted success that was in alignment with my own truth so that I could explore my own joy. I wanted to be healthy. I wanted inner peace. I wanted great relationships. I wanted all those things. But looking around, I couldn't find anybody who was really doing that. So I had all this energy. I was just so passionate. I was so intense. But it was difficult to put that energy somewhere because I didn't have the support that I needed to be able to fulfill my potential. I didn't really have role models or examples or mentors that were kind of doing what I wanted to do the way that I wanted to do it. So that's what inspired me to kind of start out on my own journey. And so much of my life has been about me being on that journey, exploring what it means to succeed from the inside out, exploring what it means to create this life that I love. And because I was doing so much of this by myself with very limited to no guidance, it was a very long journey. You know, it was difficult. It was extremely lonely. I struggled a lot. I suffered a lot. It was a lot of depression. It was a lot of me just walking around being confused about everything all the time. It was a lot of me learning things the hard way. frustrated at the world, not understanding if I was doing things right. But I kept on through that journey. And I think what kept me moving was my vision and my spirituality, as well as eventually later on down the line, learning how to just prioritize my health. And so it was interesting because growing up, I had so many health issues, So initially when I started learning how to take good care of myself, it wasn't something I really wanted to do. Back in my childhood, self-care was not a luxury. It was absolutely a necessity, and it wasn't fun. There was nothing fun about self-care back then because I needed to do that in order to survive. But as I started evolving and growing and learning how to overcome obstacles and transmuting things, that pain and that challenge became my passion. And I began to look at wellness and spiritual development, personal development differently, and recognizing that this is what's going to help me to succeed in life. This is what's going to help me to move through life. And so I had to learn a new way of moving, and I had to start creating my own definition of success. And so I'm very clear that for me, success is about prioritizing inner peace, love, and wellness on my journey. It's about staying aligned with my truth and my purpose on my journey. And it's absolutely about prioritizing my health while I continue to manage my career and my relationships on this journey. So this way of moving and these lessons that I learned helped me to just get out of victim mode. It helped me to start taking full responsibility for my wellness and my joy and my health. And this is a lot of the work that I want to be doing with women, because I still see so much of us just moving through life, still abusing our masculine selves, still neglecting our feminine selves, still overwhelming ourselves, still overworking, still overgiving in relationships. And the reality is that we don't have to do that. We can find a new way of succeeding. We can find a new way of moving. We can make wise choices about how we manage our energy. And we can do that by prioritizing our sacred self-care while we continue to manage our career and our relationships. So if any of this sounds interesting to you, put a comment below. Let me know what you think about it. I would love to meet you. I would love to get to know you if you are interested in any of the things that I have to say here. You are absolutely welcome to introduce yourself. I want to start getting to know people and open up a space so that we can have these conversations about succeeding without sacrificing ourselves and succeeding without sacrificing our health. So what is my new movement all about? It's about embracing spiritual self-love and success without stress. It's about prioritizing our health and our sacred self-care. It's about leading with our feminine and respecting our masculine. It's about respecting our womb space. It's about living a passionate life with pleasure and ease. It's about incorporating natural health and spiritual practices into our life. And most importantly, it's about staying in alignment with the desires of our heart and the mission of our soul.